It's so sick to me. Ay, ay, ay. It's so disturbing. It's so sick to me. Like, people that was to watch and see what's happening, and I can't turn a blind eye to it. I don't know why I have feelings. I have thoughts. I'm just me. And to know that we are how we came up, we are who we hang around, and things of that nature. And what I'm really trying to say is how disturbing the alligators are, like in Florida, living in Florida, seeing the alligators bathe, driving by there, and this and that and that and that and that. It's ay, ay, ay. Nope. We can't change people. People can't change me. I can't change people. So this is a random thoughts video. I'm just spewing my thoughts to get it out of my system as I head on out of here today. Ay, ay, ay. And it's like, the way we were raised plays a big part on us. And if it was raised in a way where we don't want to be that way no more, it's hard. It don't happen overnight, but it's hard to get out of those ways. It's hard to get out of that mindset. And then if we want to stay in the mindset, and I'm talking about it, hurting people in particular, and hurting other people because they don't look like you, walk like you, talk like you, act like you, think like you, believe like you, and you refuse to get out of that mindset, I'm just sharing my perspective on it, how sick that is to me. And you know what else? Like, if you're taking care, why is it allowed for you when you think like that, when we think like that, if I think like that, to be able to put our hands on other people, to go to school and get a license, to intervene with their mind, to intervene with their bodies, whether it's with our hands or writing or typing a prescription or typing administrative stuff in the computer to help and assist with those people. I live in this world and I cannot make sense of that part, and I don't think it is to make sense of. So I'll still continue to harp on protecting oneself, and not be afraid and fear in protecting oneself. Normally I don't let anyone, and try not to let anyone put me in boxes. I try to stay away from boxes, and I try not to put myself in boxes, but I do have a couple of little boxes I have back here, or wherever, right? And I say that to say I have a little box I know within my head. It's labeled silly AF. Silly as fuck. For real. And that silly box gets really always silly. That's how I get through some of my good, bad, ugly days, miserable days, horrible days. Sometimes things are not funny or, you know, meant to be silly, but sometimes it eases the whatever it is the feeling, and make it feel better for me. So there's two scenarios I wanted to talk about today that deals with having a voice, speaking up for yourself, and it's a beautiful thing to watch it go down with other people that have been silent, or you look at them and say, or like me, I've looked at somebody and say, that doctor is so sweet, he would never say nothing like that. But I cracked up because he stood up and he spoke for himself, and then I couldn't help but laugh my behind off. Like, you know, somebody who's normally quiet, you think they're a pushover, and you try to use whatever title that you have to try to manipulate a person like that, who's quiet and humble and, you know, do their job and this and that or whatever, and they caught your ass trying to manipulate them, and they're like, who in the hell do you think you are? You don't control me, you know? And so speaking up and having a voice, that's another thing. There's a balance. Everything really does have a balance. You know, I remember growing up, and I've always heard various different adults say everything within moderation, or it must be a balance between everything, you know. Even like with food, you want to balance it out and have a balance. I mean, my mind tells me I'm not going to deprive myself if I see something I want. Within reason, I eat the good, the bad, the ugly, and try to have balance in it, you know, and feel my body and know what's happening to my body by paying attention to certain feelings within the body when I do put certain foods in the body. But okay, so that's one situation. The other situation is let me see. When you do something and somebody is constantly knowing you didn't do it, but they're constantly using that word as though you did do it. And so let me give an example of this. Say, for example, you come in, you start your computer, and the whole thing is just bunzak, you know, gone bad. The fonts are changed, the files are all different, blah, blah, blah. And you ask somebody, can you help me with this? Because you know they are computer savvy, and you've leaned on them before to help with printers, computers, things of that nature. And they keep saying, you broke the computer, you broke the computer. And at first you laugh and be like, you know. And then you try to explain when you walked in, but they said, no, you broke the computer. She broke the computer. All the way until the next day. So the person that was sitting there prior was like, yes, administrators from the computer room came down and they did some work on it and reset the computers. I was like, I knew something was wrong with the computers. And that same person came back, nope, you broke the computer. She broke the computer. You broke the computer. So finally, I looked and I said, it was me. I looked and I said, first of all, I knew there was something wrong. She said IT came down, but I'm not going to continue to take, you're telling me I broke the computer. You can go on and gaslight somebody else because, because the amount of times the person kept saying it, and then it wasn't a thing of somebody that don't look like you, don't walk like you, talk like you. It's somebody that is the same something parts of you, right? In a sense. So it's not always that, And so when I said my piece, and I said, and this is why, to the, I directed it to the third party, and I was like, thank you for letting me know that, because I knew that somebody did something to the computer. And so the third, and then that one just was like on repeat, or repeat. You broke it. You broke it. She broke it. You broke it. She broke it. You broke it. Like, what the what are you talking? Whatever. Okay. So the first day I let it go. The second day, you constantly on it and on it and on it and on it. And I was like, listen, you could take that mess and go gaslight somebody else, because I'm not trying to hear that. And this is what happened. But then when I was trying to explain what happened, so I looked at the third party and I said, this is why. Let me give y'all a lesson. This is why you don't, and it's called DEEP, deep. Don't defend, don't explain, don't engage, don't personalize with people like this. It finally got quiet. And then they said, Emily, I love you. I said, I love you too. I'm giving you love back. This is the, the oh my God. I'm giving you love back. It has nothing to do with love, got to do with it, So don't think that you can beat somebody over the head with some bullshit over and over and over and over again, and then look at them like they're the crazy ones for, number one, they knew it wasn't them that messed it up. Number two, what are you trying to put in to the brain? You did it, she did it, you did it, she did it, he did it. What are you trying to say? So then it had me to think even a little deeper. It was like, I thought this person was such a sweet, sweet person, which they are. But then if you watch them, you walk past them and you notice how they look at you and they stare at you. And then you start replaying other conversations that you've had and the subtle remarks. And these things get ignored when I like somebody and want to, I'm not even trying to give nobody the benefit of a doubt. It's just that, why should I think twice about you? But now, thank you. Thank you. Eyebrows raised, the whole 9 yards, thanks. Anyway, and so the other one I mentioned earlier, how the person is just so quiet and sweet and this and that, and then you have somebody else with a, get me that person immediately. Okay. We all standing in the background like, yeah. What they gonna do? Try to manipulate this nice, humble Doc. Doc was like, yo, I ain't going for this shit. He was like, who do you think you are? Telling me my job. I went to school. I have a license to practice and diagnose, admit, and don't admit on my own accord from what I choose to. And you gonna tell me? I mean, sometimes they bend, sometimes they don't. But when you come to people with an arrogance and think because of your title, you gonna get what you want, you got another thing coming, buddy. You know, and then when you use that ego, like, with your title, immediately, now. Huh. People standing up. And that's, you know, standing up for themselves and speaking up for themselves without an attitude. You know? And then when it comes out strong, like, who do you think you are? You can't talk to me like that. You can't make me do what you think I should be doing according to when you want to bend the rules for who you want me to bend the rules, because it sides with your look like you, walk like you, maybe have been through some things like you, believe like you agenda. So I'm gonna end this video on when you get your strength, and it is okay to get your strength to speak up and pay attention to how people act. It's, you know, it may shock you, and it does. Sometimes you get into these situations where it's gonna shock you, because you would never expect that from certain people, and you start to see how certain people really think and believe, and then those whatever other words come out, I'm not gonna say them. It comes with paying attention, and then also balancing, you know, having that voice. There comes a time where you just can't let them do and say what the hell they want to do and say to you, to me, to you, to you, to me. All right, let me put the silly box back. Peace.